Welcome! Today, we're looking at a spiritual worldview that, to put it plainly, allows for absolutely no compromises. It's a path that sees itself as an answer to a deep spiritual crisis, a path for spiritual warriors. So, let's start with a very personal question. Do you know that feeling that there has to be more than what we see every day? Or maybe you're stuck in a kind of spiritual dead end, looking for a path that really tells it like it is, that demands something from you instead of just comforting you. Well, that's exactly what this is about today. The foundation of this entire path is a truly radical assumption. Our reality, as we know it, is a battlefield. An invisible yet absolutely omnipresent spiritual war that is taking place in every single moment. On one side stands the God Force, JHWA, as the origin of everything good and pure. It is also understood as the highest true self within us. And directly opposite, the negative force. It is described as the ruler of this material world, cruel, powerful, and extremely dangerous. Its sole purpose, to keep our souls imprisoned here. There is no middle ground, and that is the crucial point. This war is not some ancient legend or an abstract idea. No, it is understood as an immediate daily reality. It is happening here and now. Every touch of sluggishness, every negative thought, every distraction, all of it is seen as a strategic move on this inner battlefield. So, if there's a war, then logically there is an enemy. And this enemy, the so-called negative force, has an entire arsenal of tactics to influence and control us. Let's take a closer look at them. Okay, the tactics are quite far-reaching and often subtle. They range from direct infiltration, that is, possession by negative entities, to the constant manipulation of our thoughts and emotions. Does this sound familiar? You want to meditate and suddenly you're hit with a leaden fatigue? In this view, that's considered a direct act of sabotage. Also central is the exploitation of our life force and, most perfidiously, deception by beings who masquerade as angels or figures of light. This statement here really gets to the heart of how radical this worldview is. It's not seen as the exception, but as the terrifying rule. And this leads us to a central concept: energy exploitation. This isn't just about morality. According to this teaching, our sexual energy in particular, but also intense negative emotions like anger or fear, serve as direct nourishment for these hostile forces. And the consequence of this is strategic and radical. Sexual abstinence here is not an act of piety, but a hard-nosed strategic necessity of war. But in the midst of this truly dark diagnosis, there is a clear call to action. The call to rise up, to become a light warrior, and to actively intervene in this battle. One thing is very clear here. This path vehemently opposes any form of spiritual complacency or passivity. The idea that you just have to wait and believe in the good is considered a dangerous illusion and deception. The message is unmistakable. Your salvation requires your full, active, tireless effort. And so we come to the definition of the light warrior. This is not just a fighter. It is the fusion of two archetypes. On one hand, the warrior, who is vigilant, disciplined, and actively fights against a very real enemy. And on the other hand, the mystic, whose deepest longing is for union with the divine, with God. The core message is you can't have one without the other. You cannot find mystical union if you are not willing to fight the battle. Okay, a warrior obviously needs weapons, an arsenal, tools, and this path offers a very specific set of practices to even be able to take up this fight, and then to endure it. An extremely helpful tool and foundation in this battle is the spiritual diary. But forget what you might think about normal diaries. This is a hardcore workbook for ruthless self-analysis. You start each day with the clear commitment to want to be a good person. Then you record your own weaknesses on a scale. You analyze your media consumption, your dreams, all with one goal: to uncover your own weak spots, the gateways for the enemy, so that you can then close them. And the offensive practices are built upon that. These include constant personal prayer to build a living relationship with God, the mental recitation of God's names at the so-called third eye to concentrate focus, sound meditation, in which you try to hear and absorb a divine current of sound, and in addition a very active visualization technique, a rotating gold disc as a protective shield. This is in essence the daily training of the light warrior. And so, we come to the final decision. This path presents everyone searching for answers with a very, very clear choice that truly affects their entire life. The choice is presented here as an absolute, unbridgeable chasm. On one side, the unconscious path of the negative force, dominated by fatigue, distraction, and consumerism, which is said to lead to spiritual enslavement in the end. And on the other side, the path of the light warrior, characterized by wakefulness, focus, a deep longing for God, and a daily, highly disciplined practice of at least 2.5 hours. According to this teaching, there are only these two paths, and their outcomes could not be more different. And ultimately, it all comes down to this one question, a question that everyone can only answer for themselves. If you take this worldview of a real spiritual war seriously, even for just a moment, are you prepared to bear the consequences? Are you ready for this fight? And that is the final crucial consideration. Does this call to become a light warrior, to turn your entire life upside down, to fight and practice every single day? Does that resonate with what you are truly looking for in your innermost being? It is a path of total surrender. And the decision to walk it or not is ultimately yours and yours alone.